Welcome to the Quantum Biology Collective podcast, where we break down the practical strategies of this emerging science, starting with healthy light habits and going wherever the quantum superhighway takes us. This is your host, executive and life coach Meredith Oak, with a quick reminder that podcasts are conversations, not consultations, and definitely not medical advice. We're here for informational purposes only. To follow up with our amazing guests, please do check out the show notes, and to stay in the loop with the QBC podcast, join our email list, also linked in the show notes. Okay, we're trying something new. This is our very first ever bonus episode. It's going to be really fun. And this episode is with somebody who has used quantum principles to completely transform his life from a personal and business perspective. So how this came to be is that I was at a conference for startups, not really expecting to meet anyone who would be a guest on the Quantum Biology podcast. However, my friend Todd, who helps me out with marketing, if you need help with marketing, go to thegrowthsuite.com/free. That's suite like SUITE. Todd's fabulous. He's been helping me so much. Anyway, Todd was like, listen, I know you're into this quantum stuff. You should go over and talk to that guy over there who's doing a Q&A in the corner. And I was like, the sports agent, lawyer? And he said, yes. I'm like, all right, I'm not really sure what common ground we're going to have, but I trust you. So I went over and I started listening to this person give answers in his Q&A. And I asked my own question, and I was so impressed with him and his approach to life and business and the world. And his name is David Meltzer. He's apparently pretty famous on the internet. I didn't know that. And he is a legendary sports agent, a lawyer, an author, an entrepreneur, and a speaker. When he came in contact several years ago with a mentor in the psychoimmunology field who brought him into the quantum world. And so his take on things is very much in the realm of our beliefs, our actions, our attitudes, and how they inform those things, inform the life we live on a quantum level. So this is not the deep science that we get into sometimes, and it's not a story of health recovery, but it is a story of recovery in terms of how a person transformed his life based on these principles and used it to ascend to very high levels of success, and sees it as his mission to empower, support, and help other people to do that as well. So this is a topic that's very dear to my heart, and a little outside the realm of what we've covered on this podcast so far, but I do want to get into it more. So if you enjoy it, please let me know. You can let me know in the comments on YouTube, or you can send an email. You can go to qbcpod.com, sign up for our email newsletter, hit reply, and let us know your thoughts on all the things. And without further ado, here is the fabulous David Meltzer. All right, Dave Meltzer, welcome to the QBC podcast. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Well, it's my pleasure to be here, and looking forward to sharing with your community and hopefully empowering others to empower others to be happy, which is my mission.
Yeah, and you are really good at it. So I found you at a live event where you were speaking, and I asked you a question, and you just had such a profoundly beautiful answer. So on this podcast, I'll just quickly explain that we talk about sort of the intersection of biology and quantum physics, basically. So I'm a layperson. I'm an English major and a coach. But I have all these brilliant researchers and doctors and clinicians who come on who are exploring this new sort of field of science that's explaining a lot of the things that you talk about, which is how our attitudes, our beliefs, our thoughts, all of those things impact our reality so deeply. So we talk a lot about light and circadian rhythms and how those types of frequencies are talking to our bodies. But you talk about it from that perspective. So just quickly, how did you get in so deep into a quantum approach to life? Your background is you have a law degree, you're a salesperson, you're a business guy, you're a sports agent. I was like, what a combination. How'd that happen?
It's a great question. In fact, I was an English and poli-sci major with the exercise science kinesiology minor as I played football in college. And so I asked myself, how do we connect the dots backwards to where I am? And I had a lot of lessons to learn because I was the last person on earth when I was running Lee Steinberg Sports Entertainment, the most notable sports agency in the world, someone who genetically and energetically had inherited scarcity as the frequency to everything I do. So everything was a trade and negotiation. I was born to buy things I didn't need, to impress people I didn't like, to live within the energy interference or suck between I am and this is what I want people to think I am. But I met at the right time someone who elevated my understanding and awareness to two things: meditation and quantum healing. And I resisted it, even though it made sense to me that everything vibrates and I could only be aware of that which vibrated equal to or less than me. I was still focused in on my fake ID of that money would buy me love and happiness, and that the more money I had, the happier I would be. And so, luckily for me, this woman, Dr. Sengita Sahi, explained to me awareness and the power of awareness and perspective, aligned with my values of gratitude, forgiveness, accountability, and inspiration. But she hooked me by telling me she could elevate my awareness when to buy or sell. So initially, she met me where I'm at. And I use that as an example that I would not be where I am today, except for someone met me where I was at instead of trying to get me to where they were. And so by utilizing and understanding what I liked and didn't like, she understood value of giving me more of what I liked and hopefully taking away some, if not all, of what I didn't like. And so that led me to learn how to meditate and to learn quantum healing. And as I started to understand more and more of that over the last 18 years and to make it a daily practice and surround myself with the world thought leaders in this space, as you have, I have accelerated and aggregated my community and also compounded exponentially the outcomes that I desire in life through meditation and quantum healing and my understanding and awareness to how frequency and vibration and awareness are interrelated to my intention, which is interrelated to the meaning that I give everything. And I give meaning to everything I see. So to analyze what I do, what I say, what I feel, what I believe, and I think, aligned with where I think I want to be or better, has been a foundational cornerstone to my understanding of physics, quantum physics, and metaphysics. In other words, quantum healing.
Beautiful. I love that that story of meeting you where you were at, right? It's like, okay, what is a priority for this person? And so how do I make this approach to life meaningful for that person and not with no judgment? It's like, oh, he's going to want to make some money right now. Okay.
Right.
Good for her.
People miss that because for years people were trying to, talk to me in a language I didn't understand and motivate me with something that wasn't incentives or incentivized for me.
Beautiful. How do you explain or think about quantum healing?
So I think about it in the realm of consciousness because it is relative to awareness. So I will look within the cellular structure, the cellular memory of our cells in the conscious being. And then I look at the 40,000 of the same thoughts that are hosted in the subconscious, which creates these neural pathways that then speak to our quantum being, which is our unconscious competence, which is impacted by not only our genetics and controlled by an epigenetic layer of those genetics, but also our energetics. And we inherited genetically, at least we can scientifically prove 4 generations of genetic inheritance, but energetic inheritance is for, in my opinion, millions of lifetimes. But even if you only believe in one lifetime, which is fine because I can't prove otherwise, I'm just a best options dude. You tell me I love life. So if I get a choice whether I want millions of lifetimes or just one, I'm choosing millions until someone can prove to me there's just one. But if you believe in just one and that works for you, then terrific. You still have a genetic inheritance for that one life and an energetic inheritance. And to understand the unconscious competencies that are created, the quantum being that you are, from that inheritance can help us to what? Create behaviors in the conscious continuum that create the progress aligned with those behaviors. You see, my good behavior could be your bad behavior, and your bad behavior could be my good behavior, determined upon only one thing: where I think I want to be or better. And so if I think I want to be a certain place, then I need to align my behaviors with that place or better, and understanding my quantum inheritance, energetic and genetic, and getting synergy and utilizing it in its capabilities to align with where I want to be or better creates an exponential outcome. It accelerates where I want to be. It aggregates all the right people, places, things, situation, lessons into my realm. And then most importantly, it provides me the exponentiality of outcomes according to my essence, not other people's, but my quantum essence.
Right. You're uniquely you. I'm so listening to you. It's so interesting to me because when we talk about circadian dysregulation, which we talk about a lot here, we talk about our cells being in chaos when we're getting bright blue light signals when it's dark outside and things like that, right? Like it throws our cells into chaos when they're supposed to be playing as a symphony in harmony. And what I'm hearing you say is that it's the same thing with our intentions and our alignments in terms of who we want to be, right? When those are working in harmony, our momentum into the desired reality is that much faster and that much clearer.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. See, you are talking in the realm of sleep and our circadian rhythms of understanding ease. I believe that we are at ease, and we got to figure out what we're doing to put ourselves at dis-ease. And obviously light can do that to us as well, which is why, by the way, one of the first things I did after I was trained as a quantum healer, after I started meditation as a practice, my first coach, which I still have today, is for a third of my life, which is a sleep coach. And people didn't even know that there were sleep coaches. I actually want to be in the Sleep Hall of Fame. But I have learned to utilize a third of my life to recover and to access information that my conscious interferes with during my awake time. It is a complete different realm of intentionality, notating that what we pay attention to and what we give intention to will equal the coinciding of the ease, the coincidences, results, consequences that we are desiring or better. And so it's so important to take these realms. And one is a third of your life is spent sleeping. And if you're not intentional about your sleep and being at ease when you are sleeping to recover and access information to utilize the next day, then you're cheating yourself. One of the biggest frustrations I have on my mission of empowering others to empower others to be happy is that most people go to bed at night and they wake up more tired. They wake up more dis-ease. And it makes no logical sense. Forget the knowledge I have of physics, quantum physics, and metaphysics, of quantum healing and meditation and awareness and a variety of other things. Just thinking of a pragmatic practice. If I took you out to eat for 8 hours and we left after 8 hours of eating and drinking, and the first thing that you said was, "Man, I'm starving and thirsty," that would not make logical sense. You don't have to be a quantum physicist in order to facilitate something is wrong. Why is it the majority of people on earth literally go to bed at night and wake up more tired? It is the exact same thing. And if you want to help yourself be at ease for a third of your life, if that sounds good to you, if you believe that being in the flow is the way to go, then I would suggest, looking to Meredith and other people in the world that can help you be at ease for a third of your life. It sure helps me not only recover, but access everything I desire or better each and every day that I spend awake.
That's such an interesting point. And yes, because we talk about sleep as repair mode, restorative mode, where your cells in your body are resting and putting everything back together so that you can wake up refreshed. I had that exact issue, by the way, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I would sleep for 10 hours and wake up tired. And I was like, what is going on? At the time, I was in my 30s. I'm like, this can't be my life. I'm chronically exhausted and sleep not having the desired effect. So you're talking, we're talking about the physical repair and restore, but I also hear you talking about another layer of accessing another level of consciousness that is not available to us when we're awake. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there is. And well, it's always available for us. There's just more interference when we're awake. It's why also I wake up early, because there's less interference to that information at 4 a.m. than there is at 7, 9, or 10 or noon. And it's a matter of frequency in physics that the more electronic or energy that is not aligned with our frequency, then it's going to interfere with my belief, which is relative to all religions, all philosophies, all theories, and all spirituality. You see, just like my past life theory of best option, best life for me, meaning if I believe that, this life is good enough, and then I'm only going to believe there's one life because you can't prove it. Or since I love life and I want more lives, I'll believe there's millions. Well, the same thing holds true in religion, philosophy, theory, and spirituality for me. I know that it benefits me in order to believe that there's something bigger than me, an omniscient, that means all knowing, all powerful source that's infinite and abundant and unified, that protects, promotes me, and loves me more than my mom. And within the context of that faith, I then realize, what am I doing to interfere with what I'm already given? I'm already given that. I'm already part of that. And so everything that you do and I do is to elevate the awareness, not to how go get it, but it's actually, what are you doing to interfere with it? And so I look at things, what time I wake up, my sleep, what I eat, how I exercise. What am I doing to interfere with my potential, my truth, my higher self? And because I'm protected, promoted, and loved by something infinite, and I live in an infinite loop of more than enough of everything for everyone, it just benefits me and others to shift the paradigm of perspective. You don't have to go get it. And it confuses people when you talk about surrender. I created a brand called the Ferocious Buddha because I believe the most ferocious thing we can do is, when we are reacting to fear, is to stop and not resist it, go over it, under, through it, around it, logic it, analyze it, supply it, deny it, be worried, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, or resentful. Just simply stop and breathe. Get to center at peace or ease, and then roll back into the trajectory. What I call, we live in divine direction in divine time. What are you doing to interfere with it? And that is, to me, a simple principle and perspective of everything I do. But it takes two things: wisdom, that we seek, we're more interested than interesting, and faith. And it's a simple faith. I don't care what you label it as. For me, labels are for shampoo. Every year that goes by, I need less and less shampoo, but I need more and more faith. And I don't care what you label it. Wisdom and faith will shorten the distance of resistance. It'll help elevate your awareness to what you're doing to interfere with your potential, your truth, your best self.
Yes. And having that connection to that faith that there is something much bigger going on, and we're a part of it. And this is but a moment. It makes it much easier to not get tied up in all of the vagaries of public discourse and current events and all the other things that happen. It makes it much easier to sort of let those things slide by and stay focused on what we, back to your other point, like what we uniquely feel to be important and to be our mission on this world, in this world. So a lot of people who listen to this podcast are health and wellness professionals and practitioners. So they are people who have, by necessity, started their own businesses. They work for themselves or work with a very small team. And it can be a little nerve-wracking at times because their true heart is in helping people, but yet they're also running a business. So you had a beautiful answer when I asked you earlier about how you look at competition from a quantum perspective, and how, like, the idea that there's no competition in the quantum field.
it's a beautiful thing when you believe that everything is unified in one. And so the competition or comparison will steal or interfere with that great joy of abundance. That's not to say that the misconception or misunderstanding of competition with self, which to me is finding what's interfering with our better or our higher self, to me is a competition. And so sometimes we can utilize quantitative analysis in order to do that. Time is one of my love languages, and it allows me to quantify everything because I know I'm working each day as a human being within 24 hours, and so is everyone else. And so I take a positive perspective of that 24 hours and compete with myself within the 24 hours in order to see how quickly I can accelerate, aggregate, and compound exponentially where I want to be or better in this divine time in divine direction. And so what happens is if we do not look inside of ourselves in that competitive way, and we start looking outside of ourselves, that it will create more interference. It will accelerate us in the wrong direction. It will zap our energy in its quantum sense. We will be less than instead of more than enough. And so there's an infinite loop that is a competition in itself. That imagine if instead of living in competition, which is always a zero-sum game, sooner or later you end up at zero if you're competing outside of yourself. Instead, if we compete inside of ourselves, then we give everything and we are given even more. And we elevate our awareness through this quantum mentality or consciousness in order to receive even more. And then because of that quantum mentality, we can actually ask for more than more beyond our comprehension. It isn't a finite zero-sum game in which when we give, we're negotiating and trading and competing, but instead we give more to be given more, to receive more and ask for more than more. And we can give more than more, be given more than more, receive more than more, and ask for more than more than more. Instead of ending up at zero, we end up with more than enough of everything for everyone. And we align with quantum physics, which is everything is expanding. And if in that concept you don't understand, if everything is expanding, then it must be infinite. And if it's infinite, then it must be what? More than enough of everything for everyone. And I try to, in a pragmatic, practical way, explain this in everything I do: movies, TV, books, speeches, meetups, holding courts, every podcast that I do, interviews. It's all for one purpose. And I would, as we finish up too, would love to offer your entire community my book. I will pay for the book, pay for shipping. All they have to do, I'll sign it if you wanted to value it, but just email me, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. Anyone in this community or any friends of this community, all you have to do is email me and I will pay for, sign, send my book, sign it if you'd like, to help you have a framework. It's called Connected to Goodness: How to Manifest Everything You Desire in Life and Business.
Thank you, David. I have a copy of that book. Your wonderful colleague Nick gave it to me at the conference. So thank you, Nick, for that. It's a great book, and I love it because it walks people. You know, as we talked about at the top, your journey. You didn't start out as a monk.
No, I
so it's a really beautiful framework for everybody who identifies as a human. Dave, thank you so much for taking the time and for being here today. This is absolutely beautiful.
Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. I appreciate everyone. Please reach out.
Thanks, Dave. Woohoo! You made it to the end of another episode. Thank you so much for joining us on this exploratory adventure into new realms. Your energy and support are building a different world, and I am so grateful to be on this journey with you. Take care, and thanks.